Well, another heartbreaking loss. The Bulldogs drive into field goal range with seconds to spare, and the execution collapses. Enough is enough. It's time for a new quarterback in Starkville.
You are Locked On Mississippi State, your daily podcast on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. My name is Jaron. I'm a national college football writer at Athlon Sports. That's Landon. We've got a recap show for you today. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a rant kind of day, but we'll go through that, and then we'll give our top dog of the week like we do every single Monday. But first, let's talk about just recap the offense. It was a 23-21 loss to Florida. The offense put up 468 yards. They were 8 of 15 on third down, 1 of 2 on fourth down, and they scored 21 points.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the stats, and we're going to do a lot on Shapen. I mean, you start with him. If you look at his stats, 24 of 26, 324, 9 yards per completion. That's not terrible. Yeah. It's not great, but it's not like awful. But he played terrible. Yeah. And he's the reason you only scored 21 points putting up numbers like that. I mean,
he's why you lost.
He's why you lost. And even if you somehow won the game with, if they do kick the field goal, you win 24-23. He's the reason you only scored 24 points and it was close.
Right.
He missed, what was it, 3 or 4 wide open
touchdown
throws.
4 total. Yeah.
Took a couple sacks that he should not have taken that put you in bad positions or into drives, just held onto the ball too long. And then the interception. That is just mind-boggling bad quarterback play.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing you can say to defend that play. His read on it, what he did. Like, honestly, even as a coach, even if you did not have another option at quarterback, like, let's say there's no Kamario Taylor, there's no Croman Hawk, you have some unproven, unknown, just completely unheard of freshman, you almost have to start them next week. Like, I don't know how you can expect the fan base to get up for a game after what happened.
And we said earlier this year, like, hey, we're tabling all quarterback controversy talks unless Levy brings it up or if they go on a losing streak at some point. And the losing streak's here. You've lost, 3 straight games. You haven't won an SEC game in over 2 years. Shapen, again, you look at the numbers, not bad. Like you said, 24, 36, 324. He did hit on several deep balls. He hit on his first deep ball of the game early in the game when they eventually scored a touchdown. It's like, okay, here we go. He's having one of those games. But literally, Brenen Thompson early in that first half, and they ended up not scoring any points. I think it might have even been in that first quarter they had to punt. But he has, it was in the first quarter, 7:04 left. You score a touchdown, you allow a field goal. You have a chance to go up 14-3, and Brenen Thompson is wide open for a 59-yard touchdown. And I'm not talking about, he's open, but it's still a tough pass. He's open by like 15 yards.
Yeah, 5.
It's insane how open he is. And he overthrows him. Okay, happens.
Those happen.
It is what it is.
That was the only one?
Yeah, like, hey, it happens. Okay, so then he comes back, and they do the same thing, and Brenen Thompson goes on a go route, and he's on the sideline, and he's beat him again. And the only place you cannot put this ball is inside, because if you put it inside, the safety has a chance to get there. Put it on him or put it outside, and it's a touchdown. He throws it so far inside that it ends up being more like a post route, and the safety's able to get there right as he's about to catch it to knock the ball out, and that should have been another touchdown. Then you have the one to, I believe it was Jaron Glover. He's running up the sidelines. He throws it way late, and they're like 20 yards from the end zone, 30 yards from the end zone. He throws it way late, ends up leading him into the hedges and into a ladder out of bounds because he throws it too late and too far. And then you have the one late, which I mentioned in the post-game recap. At the time, it didn't look like a big deal, but then after the interception, it is a big deal. So what they did is they the slot receiver, and I believe it was Anthony Evans. He ran an out, and then for like 5 or 6 yards. This was on the final drive of the game, and then they had Mosley running a go right behind him.
Yes.
And so you had the nickel back and you had a corner. And basically what this is hey, if they go back, check it down to Anthony Evans, get you 6 yards. You see it all the time in late game situations. But if they come up, you throw it right over their head to Mosley. And he throws it to Evans. Evans catches it for 6 yards. He goes down. And at the time, you're like, oh, it's no big deal. He got a good gain. We're about to kick a game-winning field goal anyways. But Mosley is wide open because both DBs come up, and he is wide open for a walk-in touchdown, and he misses the read again. So the reason why I think it's time for a quarterback change is because we said this all offseason. The reason why you go with Shapen is because he's more experienced. He's not as talented, but for this team, you need the experienced guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when the experienced guy is making freshman mistakes, you go with the more talented guy. And this is the third time we've come on a podcast and talked about the freshman mistakes that Blake Shapen is making. And I didn't even get into the interception because on the interception, I'd have to look at it again and make sure they're all running the same thing. But they're essentially running the same blitz 2 plays in a row. And the first time he holds it too long, gets sacked, doesn't see it coming. Okay, happens.
Yeah.
Second time, he doesn't see it coming and then doesn't see the guy dropping behind him. And first off, it was a bad play call. And the reason why someone messaged and said, hey, you're supposed to throw it to where the blitz is coming from. Yes, but you don't run a slant. So what happened was they blitzed off the side. So that slot receiver is going to be the hot read and he's going to be wide open. But don't run a slant to where the linebackers that aren't blitzing are sitting. And that's what they ended up doing. And then the defensive lineman obviously was able to undercut it anyways. Yeah. Run a curl where that blitz is coming from, and it's a wide open pitch and catch. Or run an out where he goes where he was and out, and there's no way the defensive lineman can undercut it. So the play was bad. But then it's also on the quarterback. Do not make that throw.
Yeah, it was not a play I would have called given the time, the situation where they are, how good Ferry is. I would have just given it to Booth, tried to get a couple yards and set up the kick where you want it. But I get it. Not going to go into that too much. Yeah. So we're pretty transparent of what goes on in our lives on this. I was not watching this game live. I went to go see Nate Bargatze last night, and we were waiting in line, and they had this on a TV over the game, and they're trying to get us in line to be in line to get food and drinks. And as I'm being told to move, the interception happens, and I just freeze, and I'm just staring at this TV, and the security guy's like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
So that was just the most insane play I have seen in I don't know how long with the game on the line. Weird call, but then the worst execution possible. Like if you told me that's all I saw, I would think that was like Shapen's first game at college.
Yeah.
Like if you showed me that play, like who makes that throw?
Right. If that's Taylor, you're like, you live with it.
Yeah. It's like, that's not great, but I see
but not your 6-year senior.
Yes.
Yeah.
But get off Shapen a little bit. Booth had a great game.
He was really good. I thought he should have got the ball more. And the weird thing is when we talked about this before the game, maybe he gets brought into the passing game a little more. I threw it to him twice. He had 2 catches, 14 yards. One was a 10-yard gain. It was a really nice play. But I also want to talk about Levy a little bit because I thought the play calling on that last drive was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They caught him off guard with the quarterback draw that started it with 18 yards. And I will say this. I am not someone that lets the result of a play determine if it was the right call or not.
Yeah, process the results.
Right. So if they rushed 4, I think they rushed 3 or 4, and then they dropped everyone else. So if Shapen would have ran the quarterback draw and the guy would have shed his block and tackled him for a 1-yard loss, that's not a bad call. That's actually a great call for that situation. It just didn't work out. But in this one, obviously, it did work out. But there was a moment in this game where he brings Camario Taylor in for a short yardage gain, and he gets it. Mm-hmm. Then they run it 3 straight times with Taylor after that. So 4 times total. And basically all they did was the same play, which is they had a running back at slot. He would come in motion. He'd fake the handoff, and he would run it.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know if there's a read on it. If there's a read on it, if he gives it once or twice, it's a huge gain. He doesn't. But anyways, they get stopped, and it's 4th and 1. So they bring Shapen back in. Okay, cool. Shapen's in. They're gonna be able to throw it or hand it to Booth, whatever. They ran the exact same play, but with Shapen instead of Taylor, and Shapen gets tackled for a loss. Yeah. If you're going to run that play, just keep Taylor in the game. Otherwise, you need to go with a pass or a handoff or something like that instead.
Yeah, that was a weird choice. I mean, I kind of get it though. You're kind of going with, the defense will not expect this in the slightest. So you get them to keep it. So maybe we'll go it. But yeah, overall, I thought Levy did call a pretty good game overall. It's just Blake didn't execute.
Yeah.
He left too many points on the table, made some bad reads. There were some weird calls, but I mean, if you drill down into it, every offensive play caller has about 4 or 5 a game where you're like, well, what were you thinking? What were you thinking there?
It was weird because there was also a moment where Shapen hit a long pass and they got like 1st and 10 from the 15 or something, and then he runs it 3 straight times and they get stuck. I think it might have even been the one they missed the field goal on.
I think so.
Which looked good. That field goal looked good.
I think it was
so good. That's another discussion. But also on the flip side, I don't want to hear about him being the best kicker in college football anymore because that's been a talk about Mississippi State fans for a while. Dude's like 8 of 12 on the season. And he's missed some really clutch kicks. He's a good kicker. He's a solid kicker. He's not having a good season.
No.
Because even on that one, and you can get mad, and I saw him get mad because he's like, "Oh, it was good. It was good." Don't make it that close.
Right.
I mean, don't make it. It was like a 36-yard field goal or 40, 45. I can't remember which one. If you're one of the best, you got to just drill that right down the middle. Don't even make it even questionable. But I do think it actually ended up being good. And the frustrating thing is they lost to a team that just fired their coach. Fired him on Sunday, and we knew all week he was getting fired.
Yeah, he was lame duck.
And offensively, this team looked like last year's team. Defensively, we'll get into it in a second, didn't. Offensively, It looked like last year's team, and they made a lot of mistakes that bad football teams make, and it's becoming a trend in SEC play. But let's get into the defense. We'll do that because I actually thought they played pretty good, but we'll talk about that coming next. Well, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I know a lot of people that use FanDuel, they love how it gives them so many ways to play. They built parlays, track player props, and even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. And one of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communication. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. I know a lot of people that use this for their business. They love how Quo, formerly known as Open Phone, lets your team share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. It makes things very, very simple for their businesses. Their built-in AI agent is a game changer and actually can answer after-hours calls, capture leads, and keep businesses moving even when you're off the clock. So see why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off for your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's quo.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Landon, so what was your thoughts about the defensive performance?
I mean, overall, they played really well. In the majority of games, if you have a competent offense, you hold a team to 23 points, you're going to win that game. Mm-hmm. I mean, the majority of the time you will. And I mean, if we're going to talk about the defense, I mean, it's going to start with Brylan Lanier. I mean, 2 interceptions, great, and throwing in a sack too. I mean,
and that sack was on the crucial. So it was 3rd and 1 for people that didn't get to watch the game. It was 3rd and 1, and first down ends it for Florida. Game's over. I don't know why they called a pass play on that one, but that's not my problem. And they called a pass play, and he made the sack. And that's probably why he was fired. And they got the sack, and that sealed the game right there.
Yeah, he played a great game. But I mean, overall, defense played really well. I mean, they gave up a few big plays. They didn't really contain the running game, which some we talked about how they needed to contain ball. He got loose. I think it was his either season high or career high. And I know it's season high. I think it might have been his career high in rushing yards that they gave up to him. But I mean, it's not like he ran wild. I mean,
Right.
he's still well, he gave up 200, 300 yards or whatever, but they played pretty well. It was one of those games where you go back and you watch, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of good plays. There was not outside of Lanier just having an awesome game. It wasn't anything where you were like, they did this exceptionally well, this exceptionally well. It was just very good defense across the board.
Yeah, this is the thing about the defense. I know what I'm getting out of them every week.
Yeah.
They're a solid unit. They're not great. They're not
And you have a
good.
couple players like Kelly Jones
Right.
can pop off, Lanier will pop off, Isaac Smith. You have a bunch of guys who have the ability to have great games on a solid defense.
And Isaac Smith, you could tell he was a little rusty because he looked out of place. He looked lost at times, and I never thought I would say that about Isaac Smith. But overall, I thought the defense, because this is the thing, I grade them based on what I think they are, and I think they are just a solid defense. So when I say, oh, they played pretty good, I'm talking about for a solid defense, they played pretty good. Now, if you're one of the top defenses like Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio State, then no, it wasn't a great performance. But if you compare them to what we think they are, which is just a solid unit, they played pretty well. Like you said, Ball had a pretty good day rushing the football, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.5 yards per carry. He was the only guy that was really a worry for me going into the game, and he showed why. He played really well. But I thought they did really good at the bend don't break type defense.
Yes.
I mean, on that first drive, they get into it. They have 1st and goal, and they're able to stop them and hold them to a field goal. They did have the 6-play, 69-yard drive shortly after that. But then they had a big gain in the second quarter. It was a 50-yard pass. And it's like, oh, no, it was 10-7 at that point. Florida, it's like, oh, no, they're going to go in, get up 17-7, and then Lanier picks it off. And but what happens? Mississippi State goes down. They get it for 2nd and 6 from Florida's 15, and then they fumble. So they gave it right back, which then allowed them to go down for the field goal. But then they picked them off again right before half. Again, it looked like Florida was going to be able to add some points right before half. Another interception. So second half was pretty good. 2 punts. They did have the long touchdown drive in the fourth quarter, and they, that one kind of felt like the game winner, which it was just tough drive for them. And I think at that point you could, and this is now becoming a trend also where you're starting to see the defense start to wear out in the fourth quarter. And that's why I think they're a solid defense and not a great defense or a good defense, because that's the next step that they need to take, and they're not quite there.
Yeah, you can tell they need a little more depth, a little more just experience, playing together, running the defense, all that. But overall, they played pretty well, especially when you look at after that touchdown in the second quarter that Florida scored to go up 10-7. The next drives were interception, field goal, interception, punt. I mean, you give up 3 points over 5 drives, with 2 of them being turnovers, and your offense gives you a missed field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, what else can you ask of them? I mean, it's not like Florida's a juggernaut offense, but they're a good offense. You can't not score for that long when your defense is doing that and expect to win games.
Yeah, and defensively, they have to go all in on the defensive line and the transfer portal recruiting. Like, the defensive line is another thing that holds them back.
Yes,
because they had 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. Both sacks were by safeties. Both 2 of the tackles for loss were by safeties. Only one was a defensive lineman, and that was Jaray Bledsoe, had 1 tackle for loss.
Yeah,
that just can't happen. And that's why Ball is able to run wild like he's able to. But the secondary, again, was really good. 5 pass deflections. 2 of those was by Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones even got the offensive pass interference call, which I heard the announcers were like, oh, I didn't see much there. It was more of grabbing. What happened was, and the reason why they called it was Lagway had got out of the pocket, and the receiver turned around to block. And he grabbed him to block and then turned around back for a pass. As soon as you start to block, it's offensive pass interference if he throws it. Like, I don't know why that was even a discussion, but yeah, I mean, the defensive backs actually played really good, and that pass interference gave them a shot because it made that field goal a 54-yarder. Now the kicker drilled it, which
But
ultimately
it's
got them
okay.
the 23 points, which props to him because we talked about Frary not having a great day, missed his one field goal. But the kicker for Florida, the Trace Mack kid, he went 3 for 3. He hit the 24-yarder. He also hit a 54-yarder, and then he hit let's see, at the end was a 53-yarder. So he hit 2 50-yarders in that game, and if he misses just one, you win the game. So props to him because, and I will say this, I don't like it when teams do this either because they had the offensive pass interference, then they got the stop, and Florida really wasn't in field goal range at that point. But the issue is they dropped everyone back, afraid that they're going to get 30 yards and a first down, which is very unlikely. There's 24 yards.
Yeah.
But they dropped back way too far, which allowed a check down for 10 yards, and that now gives him a chance at a 53-yarder. And I don't teams are doing that because they're scared to give up the first down. But when you're that late in the game, you got to be scared about giving up any points, period.
Yeah.
So you need to not just give up an easy check down for 10 yards. And so that goes on coaching, also goes on, not being able to react quick enough to the check down. So it goes on both, but solid day for the defense overall.
Yeah.
But all right, we got to get to our top dog of the week. Don't go anywhere.
Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, and investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can leave money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. And Monarch helps me organize all of my accounts. And once I did, I really started seeing just how much I spend on subscriptions. Everything being a subscription now, from TV, music, all of the different streaming apps, even some online, news sites require subscription now. And once you see it all laid out, you really see how much money you're spending on that. And it makes it easier to find out where you can save money by making a few cuts, and that really allows you to just make it easier to understand where that money's going. And then you can use that money to make investment and make that money work for you. So don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day. Part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Landon, who is your top dog of the week?
So I went back and forth between a few guys on this one. I went with Brenen Thompson.
Okay.
I mean, he had 155 yards on the day, which is massive amount. 7 catches, 150 yards, huge day. We talked about how many times he burned people and Shapen missed him.
It's easily a 250-yard day for him.
I mean, if he hits 2 of those, we may be talking about a close to 300-yard, 2-touchdown day. So
maybe 3 touchdown day.
Yeah.
I mean, he was awesome.
He had a great game. Stat-wise, he had a good game, but what he did, beating people play after play, he was pretty much unguardable.
Yeah, because he even had a long catch that got them inside the 5, I believe, that was a little underthrown, so he had to fall down to catch it. That if it's a little better, he even scores on that one. But on that one, it was pretty well defended. Like, I don't give Shapen any flack for that. It was a tough throw and really good catch by him. I liked Thompson a lot. I went with Brylan Lanier. Led the team with 8 tackles, 7 solo, had the crucial sack that I mentioned, also had 2 interceptions in the game. He was just incredible for the defense. And it goes back to the bend, don't break. Both picks were Florida's driving. They're going to put up points on the board. Boom, intercepts it. The sack, 3rd and 1, first down ends the game. He makes the sack. So all that stuff, how clutch he was in that game and just was exactly what they needed. And, he's been a guy that's been solid this year.
Yes.
I wouldn't say he's having this incredible year. He's kind of been overshadowed by Jaron Manning, Isaac Smith, and guys like that. And, man, it just shows you how good this defensive back room, Kelly Jones, it's just incredible how this defensive back group has played this year. And Lanier is, he's one of them. I think he might even lead the team now with 3 interceptions on the year because he got 2 in that game. Let me look. Yeah, he's got 3. Everyone else on the team has 1 that has an interception. So yeah, he's been really good this season, and especially late. He's 4th on the team in tackles, which again, 3 of the top 4 guys are safeties and tackles, and he's one of them. So I think he deserves major props because it felt like he came out clutch every time they needed it.
Yeah, he did. And you talk about how well they're all playing. So I just want to shout out Matt Barnes, the safeties coach. I mean,
Yeah.
you and I mean all the defense coaches, but you and then Corey Bell doing corners. I mean, we were a little concerned about the secondary coming in, but that has been the strength of the defense and this team.
And it had to be with how bad the defensive line is.
Yeah. And it just shows if they could get a little bit more pass rush up front, like this could be a very good defense. Go from solid to very good. So
and it's frustrating because they're taking the big jump that the offense should be taking in year 2, and that's the frustrating part. But I will say for them, the rest of the season, that was probably the easiest opponent they play. I mean, yeah, they do play Arkansas, but with Bobby Petrino, they're putting up a lot of points. They almost beat A&M this weekend. They're really bad defensively though. But outside of that, I mean, they played Texas this weekend, Georgia, Missouri, and then Ole Miss. I think you just roll Kamario Taylor out there and just let him grow, let him get experience, and see what he can do. But we'll see. We'll see what Levy decides.
Yeah, it's time to do that. I mean, you've already burned the red shirt. Shapen's not getting it done. Might as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks for being Locked On Mississippi State. Your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked On SEC. Chris Gordy breaks down the best conference in college sports, from the rivalries to the championship and every game in between. Find Locked On SC on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I'm Jaron. Check out my work over at Athlon Sports. That's Landon. Follow us, Locked On Mississippi State. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We post daily videos Monday through Friday, including a pre- and post-game show. So, yeah, until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.